Imagine a hub where community organizations, policymakers, and residents can come together to tackle social challenges with data driven solutions. That's exactly what the Community Prosperity Hub and Greater Fredericton Social Innovation are all about. By blending social innovation with GIS technology, they're helping shape a more inclusive, connected, and resilient Fredericton. Today, we're speaking with the team behind these initiatives to explore how they use data and collaboration to drive meaningful change. Let's dive in. Welcome back to Geographical Thinking. I'm Michelle Brake, and I'll be your guide as we explore ideas, stories, and conversations through the lens of geography. Joining me today are Sandi MacKinnon. She is the Executive Director for Greater Fredericton Social Innovation. Sandi brings the spirit of cooperation. This involves a keen eye for potential partnerships on shared problems or challenges, the ability to build a team where there was no team before, and then to promote this new direction to the community. The result is a new creative energy emerges in the community and the positive feeling of making a difference. Kate Walsh is also joining us, and she is the project coordinator for Greater Fredericton Social Innovation. She's a passionate leader and advocates for community-driven change. Currently a Master of Planning student at Dalhousie University, she is focused on fostering inclusive and resilient communities. As project coordinator at Greater Fredericton Social Innovation, Kate leads the nonprofit data collaboration project and plays a key role in developing the Community Prosperity Hub, an ArcGIS-based platform that aligns with the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals. This platform equips local nonprofits with data-driven insights to boost their effectiveness and community impact. And finally, rounding out our guest today is Rob Lunn, the GIS Coordinator for the City of Fredericton. Rob has been living and breathing GIS for 40 years, 30 of those with the City of Fredericton. As the city's very first GIS hire, he was there at the ground level, helping to bring GIS into the fold and watching as it grew from a lone Unix-based workstation into a powerhouse that drives daily operations. Along the way, he's helped shape mapping and data partnerships with the community, other levels of government, nonprofits, and educational institutions. One of his biggest passions, open data. And we're going to see that play out today as we explore how it's been a game changer in fostering collaboration. Thank you for joining me today, everybody, and welcome to Geographical Thinking. How are things going in Fredericton, in prosperity, in GIS? Sandi, how are things on your side? Is it a busy season?
Yes, it's been pretty busy. Besides, working on the year end, also we're looking at a bunch of different deliverables for the next year coming, and I see that Esri is going to play a big role in some of the addressing some of the needs of our nonprofit community. And anyway, we're really thrilled to be here today.
Awesome. Kate, how are things on your side? I know project coordination, projects are always going and never seem to stop. How are things?
Yes, we're juggling a lot, but it's great, and we're so thrilled to be here. Thanks for having us.
Awesome. And Rob, rounding out things on the City of Fredericton side, how are things on the city today?
Oh, they're going great. It's a beautiful sunny day. Spring is in the air. I'm retiring here soon, about 3 weeks' time, and so I'm lucky to have a fantastic person coming on board to take over the things that have developed over the last 30 years and this civic innovation that the city's been promoting, and so things are going really well.
Awesome. Glad to hear that we're able to catch you before retirement. And we look forward to hearing more about how we're all working together throughout this episode today. To get us started, though, can you share some of the story behind how the Community Prosperity Hub got started? I know, Sandi, this is probably going to be your territory.
The Community Prosperity Hub is part of the nonprofit data collaboration project that was born during the Infrastructure Canada's Smart Cities Challenge. It was one of the 5 projects that the City of Fredericton submitted. And although Fredericton was a finalist, we did not, we were not ultimately successful in the Smart Cities Challenge, but the work that we did to prepare for the proposal for the Smart Cities Challenge really brought together, community and the realization that there's a need for a way for our nonprofits, especially the smaller nonprofits on the ground doing a lot of the work, to be able to have a platform to share information. So from the 2019, during that Smart Cities Challenge, then we put together a team in order to move the project forward. So we worked with, there's a lot of moving parts for this project. So when we first started, we were like, okay, we got to bring together the needs and help our nonprofits understand where they are within their data collection. So we worked with 22 nonprofits and moved them through a data maturity model through Data Orchard, which didn't cost anything, but it really helped them realize where they were in the data spectrum, whether they were strong on commitment but weak on tools, that type of thing. And then we partnered with All In, which is a human-centered design firm, and they worked with our nonprofits to take them through like a journey map where their struggles are. So we were doing all this work in the background. And then one of the other pieces of this project that is really unique is that we looked at the United Way, our local United Way, and the Fredericton Community Foundation, and looked at what their granting applications look like, because the majority of the nonprofits that are doing this work on the ground are funded by these 2 organizations. So we worked with them in order to coordinate their data standards within their funding applications. So we're gradually moving our nonprofit sector into matching data standards that match up with census data. So we're always comparing apples to apples. So that was another really big part of the process. So the engagement was really, really important with our nonprofit sector. And so we built the hub based on the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And one of the reasons why we did that was because we wanted our nonprofits to understand where they are in the SDGs. And a lot of the funding over the next 10 years or so, actually, we've seen it in the past 5 or 6 years, that funding bodies want to know which sustainable development goal you are addressing. So it helped to educate our community around that. So that's kind of the origin of the project.
Yeah, and I think anchoring yourself within the SDGs is a great way to provide that larger framework that people may already be familiar with, and also helps provide that localized benchmark to how are we doing in regards to these, understanding that they're initially designed for that larger overview, but we can localize and we can see how we're doing. So I think it's really interesting to note that point in particular. So thanks for bringing that up, Sandi. And going kind of further into that collaboration idea that you're talking about, I know that highlighting collaboration is one of your core values for the organization. How have you looked to bring together different stakeholders, government, nonprofits, businesses, towards working on the shared goal?
Yeah, so that was not that difficult, really, because everybody was really keen to get involved. And of course, always the City of Fredericton steps up and we worked with the New Brunswick Community College, their Division of Applied Research. And so the city and Greater Fredericton Social Innovation and the New Brunswick Community College were the main partners. But then we also worked with a bunch of our smaller nonprofits and our Civic Tech Fredericton group and an all-in agency. So we just put a big team together. So wasn't difficult task because everybody was really interested in the project.
Awesome. That's great to hear. And Rob, I know you do play a part in this with that collaboration element. How did collaboration look from your side with the City of Fredericton coming into this project?
Well, Sandy had talked about, like, from 2019, the Smart City competition that we participated along with many others. Then a little thing called the pandemic came along and impacted how we were going to proceed with a lot of these things. So, but in about 2021, we were approached again by the GFSI folks, Sandy and her crew. A predecessor to Kate's, Meredith Langille, and Dr. Jules Maitland, who Sandy had already mentioned with the all of him, came by, and we socially distanced in our boardroom upstairs. We could come back to work at that time, so we got together and they said, "Well, we want to build this. How can we proceed?" So we had mentioned that while we have this platform, our Esri Enterprise Environment, our ArcGIS Online. So we had the platform to be able to offer to the goals and the initiatives that they were wanting to build here. So with all of us coming together, along with another colleague of mine here at City, Felix McCarthy, we started laying out how could we utilize the platform, the Esri platform that we have, and we came upon, well, the hub was a really great opportunity. It was new to us at that time, and I think it was one of their fairly new, one of the hubs that were out there in the Esri environment as well. But it was certainly new to us, and we wanted to investigate how that could be utilized for this. How could we leverage it, and to do this kind of an initiative? So we all sat down together. We designed it out, how it could proceed. Jules was big help very early on with the whole user experience side of it. Like, she's an expert in that field, so she was helping us with that. Meredith and since then Kate on board, experts in the initiative itself and looking for the data sets and building out the pages and the information and the charts. So we were there from a technological, well, from a platform support side, but also from a technological side of helping them get going. What were the data sets that were available, particularly the spatial data sets? What were the tools within the hub? How could those tools be used? So we helped out early on with that, and then they took over and kind of ran with it from there and built out the wonderful hub that it is now.
Awesome. It's great to hear how GIS and technology has played a role in helping give some insight into the data and what plays a part in this collaboration, but also that it provides a platform to give some transparency into that for the community members. I'm wondering, how do you measure the impact of these initiatives, and are there any specific success stories that you're particularly proud of? Kate, I think this might be your area for sure.
Yeah, definitely. The impact of the project is significant. Providing the easy to use and access data and information, it's incredibly valuable for nonprofits because it allows them to make those data informed decisions. So that might be scoping the community needs or working to improve their service delivery. And also, when applying for funding, as Sandy mentioned, they're able to use the numbers to back up their stories and really have that evidence. One of the examples was our work with Meals on Wheels, a local nonprofit in Fredericton. We used the data in the Community Prosperity Hub to help them write a funding report to demonstrate the need for expanding their services. And they were successful in receiving that funding to launch a satellite project. So yeah, having the data there for them in the SDG framework was really beneficial, and it saves them the human resources that it would need to research this information for themselves. And our team, as we found, it's not always a quick Google search. It often takes a lot of digging, especially to get it on the municipal level. Another kind of unexpected success stemmed from Civic Tech Fredericton. So Civic Tech Fredericton is a national movement with Code for Canada and Greater Fredericton Social Innovation. We lead the Civic Tech Fredericton. Every Tuesday night, a group of IT professionals come together to hack out solutions for the nonprofit and community for free. So we had around or over 30 newcomers from and recent graduates from Civic Tech Fredericton work on the Community Prosperity Hub. And through this experience, not only did they gain the skills of working with Esri and learning how to use this platform, and also folks who already knew how to use it and were able to be incredibly helpful, and do the data analysis and all kinds of help. They were able to leverage that experience and actually use it to secure full-time employment in the province and in the city. So that was really a dual impact. That was a massive benefit of the project.
Awesome. And it sounds like that's a great collaboration and partnership with these different organizations and with the city. There's a lot of support throughout the community for the work that you're doing as an organization, both with your partners, for the nonprofits, the city, Civic Tech. I think it's really exciting to hear how much you've been able to accomplish with all of this organization together. So congratulations on that. Before we move forward, I just want to say that. Thinking about another kind of area within your organization, I know that innovation falls within one of the values for the organization. I think the collaborations with the city and with Civic Tech really helps to bring that forward, that we're forward thinking, we're bringing in new technologies, we're staying on emerging trends. I am wondering, how do you stay ahead of emerging trends and ensuring that your strategies remain effective? Sandy, I feel like strategies are probably going to be your area of expertise, right?
Yes. So, Greater Fredericton Social Innovation, we are a registered charity. We have very strong connections in our community with the nonprofit sector. We have a number of programs and projects to support them in delivering on their services. So, really, our relationship with people like Rob and our civic tech volunteers, as far as technology and innovation, they keep us relevant and current. And as far as needs in the Greater Fredericton area, that's that's not a difficult task for us to glean from our nonprofit community. We have like a monthly breakfast club meeting with many of our nonprofits. We have a space where nonprofits can meet at no charge. That's really beautiful. And, we average about 300 meetings a year there, so we can access them through doing that. We administer the transit fare assistance program for the City of Fredericton, so we're connected out in that way. We just, through Community Food Smart, we have a bulk food buying club that we supply once a month to the nonprofits who then distribute the food out into community. So we are so well connected that we're always kind of on top of what the needs are, what they need. We are often, we bring people together. We believe if you just can put people together in a room, they can solve some really really good problems. We sit on a bunch of boards and committees in the city. So I think with our relationship with tech, through our partnerships, like with the city, and of course, being the host of Civic Tech, and the global experience that comes with our Civic Tech volunteers, which are amazing, and our connections with the nonprofit community, we are always hearing about what their needs are, what's next. They always, everyone knows they can reach out to GFSI if they need anything. So I think that keeps us quite relevant and on top of, what's new and what's needed.
Yeah. And I'll toss this over to Rob, I think is a bit of a surprise, but Rob, on the GIS side of things, how do you stay current on the emerging trends? Is it webinars, blogs, community? What shapes that for you?
That is a challenge, as you said.
I know.
It's in the last few years, it has exploded. Just in general with technology, like the Microsoft platform and all the 365 offerings, but with Esri's technology is exploded. Like at one time, you could know most of the tools that were there. There's no way you can keep on top of it now. So all of the things that you mentioned, we attended the Esri user conference in San Diego last year is a fantastic opportunity to talk with the actual developers of these tools that we're using for this, as well as other tools that we're interested in, and data integration tools and the collaboration tools. So it was fantastic listening to the other user stories from other clients. The webinars we regularly participate in those and watch those and go back to the recordings all the time. They're wonderful learning opportunities there. And with our local user base here, like we have a really good solid relationship with other levels of government, with our other sister municipalities. We have great relationships with them. They're all on the same platform that we are. So there's a lot of sharing of ideas. So it is a challenge. I'm looking forward to my replacement, Hannah, taking that over. She's young and lots of energy and can continue this on. But I do find it really interesting to also just see what's happening with it. So it's a challenge, but fortunately, there's a lot of different avenues for helping keep on top of this.
Awesome. And I think I wanted to touch on that with Rob, because I think it's interesting that in both of our cases here, with keeping up on technological trends and keeping up on the community trends, that sense of community and connecting with others to hear what they're doing is a key component. And I think that's an interesting thing that we see throughout these different dynamics, that we learn from each other, we continue to work together. It all comes back in a cyclical process. And I'm wondering if you can share any instances where the Hub's data has directly influenced any local decision making or policy changes. Kate, I think this might be for you with your project experience.
One example that comes to mind is our team analyzed the data from each ward in Fredericton, and we gave a breakdown on demographics and average cost being spent on basic needs like housing and transportation. And we compared these changes from 2019 to 2023, and then sent this analysis to each city councillor so they could understand the makeup of their ward. And we also shared it across social media, and it gained a lot of attention. Even some councillors had printed it out and brought it with them when they were going door to door. And I think the findings surprised some people, or maybe challenged some assumptions. Seeing the actual shift in affordability over the years, it was really, really impactful.
Awesome. And thinking about kind of what comes next, because you've done so much already within the projects and your connections, your collaboration work, where do we go from here? Are there any new priorities or initiatives on the horizon?
We have a really close relationship with the City of Fredericton's Office of Community Inclusion. And recently, the Anti Racism Task Force had submitted some recommendations to the city, and then the city's response to the recommendations. There were a number of places where Greater Fredericton Social Innovation and our civic tech team can help. And a few of those initiatives definitely will be involving Esri products. So we're looking at some of the recommendations from the Anti-Racism Task Force, where folks were looking for a one-stop shop where they could go and find places to host events, cultural events, indoor, outdoor, that type of thing. So we've built Fredericton Venues, so frederictonvenues.ca, and so our team had been working on that. Also, we are working with Esri Products to do the nonprofit mapping. So we're doing an analysis. Actually, we're going to crowdsource that one. We're going to put some of our folks up there, but then get them to get crowdsourcing to just show where all the nonprofits are in the Greater Fredericton area. So, and we're also which is kind of interesting. We just had students this week is their last placement with us, social work, social action students from St. Thomas University and the University of New Brunswick's leadership program, Renaissance College, of which Kate is a graduate. So we've had this group of students for the past school year doing a lot of research on reporting mechanisms for incidents of hate. So hate crimes go to police, but where do incidents of hate how are they recorded across Canada? So they've done a deep dive into environmental scans and and had talked to other municipalities, and there's really no core tool being used, but we think we can use Esri in a provincial level in order to provide an avenue for folks who experience incidents of hate and are looking for someone to talk to or some resolution, that we can probably use the ArcGIS platform in order to initiate that. So those are some of the things. As far as the Community Prosperity Hub goes, we will be looking at the next round of census data. We do have teams always looking to update the data that's in there. We'd also like to start chunking out for each of the sustainable development goals who's funding which goal. And so we're looking at connecting funders to that and also adding the social determinants of health. But of course, we're a charity and we're always looking for funds in order to help move those projects forward. The city is always at the table, so it's just a matter of applying to every other foundation or different levels of government for funding for that.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear what's coming next, and it sounds like some really exciting mapping projects that we'll definitely want to keep an eye on. Now, going to the other side of things, like we're looking to the future, but maybe what other advice do we have for those that might want to do this themselves, for communities looking to foster those stronger connections between organizations? Kate, Rob, where are we thinking? We'll start with Kate and get what is the experience that you're thinking?
Yeah, well, we found at GFSI, it's really important just to bring people together, get people in the same room, and you guys will find solutions together. So, the collaboration doesn't happen in isolation. One of, you know, my favorite sayings that Sandi says is if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. So just creating spaces for that kind of irregular dialogue and shared kind of decision making will help mutual learning and build the foundation for the long-term collaborations.
Nice. I think that's a great phrase that Sandi has. So thanks for sharing that with us, Sandi, through Kate. I think it's really important, the going alone. Yeah, you can go fast, but together we can get some magic happening. Over to Rob. How are things on the tech side, the city side? Any advice you have for other communities looking to foster this kind of collaboration that you've set up?
I think if your community, if you found that your local government is already involved in open data, there's already kind of the mindset for collaboration, for sharing, to working with others. So if your local communities you're finding already strong in that, they're probably a good one to approach to see about doing similar type of initiatives as we've done here. Transparency, other hubs that we've developed as well, like we have an environmental hub which is showing transparency in how the city itself is performing in environmental matters, and we openly show if we're not doing well in some of the metrics, but we'll and celebrate the ones that we are doing well in. The city also has a what's called Boost, which is a civic innovation lab, and we work with partners such as GFSI as well on that, and civic tech, as well as the local higher level education, the New Brunswick Community College and the University of New Brunswick. And we bring together for as early adapters of these technologies and the edge technologies to look at new ways of solving social issues, solving issues that with the city that we have. So a way of bringing together all of these different groups, like smart students that are out there, the educators, the nonprofits, the technology firms that are out there that are great at providing the access to their technologies and the smart people within there. So we participate with that as well. And I think if these other communities can use that kind of a model for fostering these collaborations and partnerships, it'll go a long way for them. And I think it's what's helped us become yearly, I'm not sure how many years, but we've been one of the top 7 smart communities in the world. And along with not just the City of Fredericton, it's our partners as we have here that along altogether help us become one of those finalists. So this type of collaboration that you've seen with this hub here, along with these other ones that I mentioned, are what's helped us to be recognized in that way. So approach, if your community is strong in open data, I think is a good way to first get going and see how you can participate in things such as we've done here with the Community Prosperity Hub.
Awesome. And I'm going to pass this one back to Sandi just to round us out. Any thoughts on this question or any lasting thoughts you want to leave us with?
Thank you, Michelle. So yes, one thing I wanted to make sure that we talked about is, we've presented the hub to over 300 people in the past couple of years. And
Wow.
we also presented at the International Conference on the UN Sustainable Development Goals. And we actually won Best Presentation Award because there were researchers from all over the world attending this conference. And they were really happy to see that the work that they're doing in SDGs at a on the ground municipal level, because they've been trying to figure out how to make that happen. So that was a pretty powerful event. We've also presented to the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals team, and they were just saying, this is so impressive, this is so impressive. So I just want to put that call out there that all during the process of creating this hub, we created a toolkit of how you can do this within your own community, whether it be with your municipality or your local organization. So, we encourage people to go to communityprosperityhub.com, have a look around. You can connect directly with me through there. There's a link to Greater Fredericton Social Innovation that'll come right to me, and I will send you the link to the toolkit, so how you can get started in your own community.
Awesome. Thank you for that call out. I think highlighting frameworks and that success that you've had on that international level is so important because the work that we're doing locally is fantastic, but being able to help share that beyond is something that really helps us continue this work for everybody. So thank you for calling that out, Sandi. We'll make sure to include all of the links in our show notes as well. And I look forward to seeing where everyone else takes these as well. So thank you so much, Sandi, Kate, and Rob, for joining us today on Geographical Thinking. I hope you enjoyed yourself. A little mix up from the regular everyday work. And with that, we come to a wrap on this episode of Geographical Thinking. Who knew that maps could be such a powerful tool for social change? The Community Prosperity Hub and GFSI prove that GIS isn't just about data points. It's about people, partnerships, and building a stronger community. Huge thank you again to the team for sharing how they're using innovation and collaboration to make Fredericton and beyond a better place for all. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep thinking geographically.